Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors. And I did a video, it was published, I believe, Saturday, on a company that is here, Medical Properties Trust, here in Birmingham. And it's a company that actually buys hospitals and then leases them back to the hospital. And it's a real estate investment trust, and it pays a good dividend. And some of you have in your comments said, "Thank you very much. Can you do some more videos on stocks that pay dividends?" Well, that's kind of not where I'm at. But then I got to thinking more about it and reflecting on what I shared with you in the video, that this is really a sector that has tremendous growth potential because of the aging of the baby boomers. And I referred you to this book here, The Accidental Superpower by Peter Zion, who does an excellent job of explaining how our economies grow based upon the demographics within the countries, within the cities, within the world, and how they are moving the money in various directions. Now, another author who speaks to that is Harry Dent, and Harry made his fame in bringing this to our attention probably back in the 80s and 90s, that the boomers were driving the economy, and he became very famous on it. And then in 2017 or 16, he wrote this book, and it's The Sale of a Lifetime, how the great bubble burst of the 2017, 2019 can make you rich. And what this book is all about is that the baby boomers are going to mature, they're going to retire, they're going to take all their money out of the stock market and put it into CDs, and the stock market would crash between 2017 and 2019 as the baby boomers who drove the market up to 2017 would suck the market down afterwards. Well, Harry didn't take into consideration some key elements, and those were, of course, technology, which created more efficiencies within our system, and I guess the appetite for the baby boomers to stay invested. And I think he didn't also recognize that CDs were going to be paying a negative percentage. So that didn't work out for Harry. But that all brings me back to my video on Medical Properties Trust, and how I thought, as I thought about it, I said, this is a growth industry. And because it's a REIT, a real estate investment trust, it's paying a good dividend. So you're pretty much locked in. You know you're going to get a dividend. And then if, in fact, their business grows, which Medical Properties was, you're going to get some growth as well. So you get in Medical Properties a position, you get a 5.2% dividend. And then if, as I believe, the baby boomers will grow that industry as more and more people go into hospitals and hospitals make more money, you're going to get a growth in the stock price as well. So if you get the 5.2 plus a 10%, you got a 15% growth, and that's good. Okay, so that took me to that. So the next step was, I said, I wonder if there are any other stocks that fit into that framework that my viewers would be interested in as well. And so I did some research, and I came up with Omega Healthcare Investors. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. It's also a dividend stock, and it's also contingent upon the baby boomer bubble, the growth and aging of the baby boomers. And I think I can make a pretty good case for how you can get a good dividend here, and you can also get some growth. So stay with me. And by the way, if you know of any stocks like this, go to the comments and say, hey, take a look at this one. And I'm going to personally build a separate portfolio of healthcare, possibly REITs, that are going to benefit from this phenomena of the baby boomer aging. There's 79 million of us here in the United States. And that doesn't include the rest of the world. And as I'll show you, these people aren't leaving their tentacles just in the United States. They're reaching out. So stick with me. Let me explain to you that I'm not your financial advisor, and you don't buy this stock purely on my recommendation. Do your own due diligence. Be right back with you.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
Okay, this is Omega Healthcare. They are a healthcare REIT focused on skilled nursing sector. Okay, that tells me that they're aiming at the baby boomers, that they own 954 properties and have a total of over 100,000 beds. Okay, so they are, and they're in the U.S. and the UK, small presence in the UK. And they basically own the facility, much as Medical Properties owns the hospital. These people own the facility. So the rent and the upkeep and everything is the responsibility of the renter, and Omega is the collector of the rent. Now, they then have to manage the business. And what we have to look at is, are they good at what they do? Because if they're not, and if they don't run a good business, we don't want to get involved with them. They've been around since 1972. They're a $9 billion market cap. That compares to Medical Properties was a 12.6. So they're within range of each other. They pay a, let's see, what is it? A 7.3% dividend. Medical Properties paid 5.2. So you got an extra 2% here. That's a plus. So again, it comes down to how good are they at what they do. And so as I dug, I see that 97% of their leases are long-term. So they got these people locked in for a long-term period. And they have a escalation clause within their contract, which gives a 2.3% increase in the rent every year. So that's not a big number, but it pretty much guarantees that the income's going to grow. And if you understand real estate and real estate trusts, there's all kinds of advantages in here for investment opportunities. It's kind of like I was thinking today, why is Elon Musk in the automobile business? Because there's no real advantage. Well, and if I get an interview with Elon, I want to ask him this question: why are you really in the automobile business? Because it's not a profitable business. Well, real estate has things built into it that make it profitable, such as depreciation. If I own this building that a nursing home or a nursing facility is in, and I'm paying a mortgage on it, and I'm paying interest on that mortgage, that's tax deductible. Also, within that framework, I can depreciate it. That's tax deductible. Now, yeah, but then the piper comes due that when you sell it, you got to pay your capital gains. No, there's something called a 1031 exchange that says that I think it's 18 months. If I go out in within 18 months and turn that capital gains into another purchase of larger value, the capital gains doesn't have to be paid. And I'll show you in here, that's one of the things that they're doing. So these are smart people. They understand our tax code so that they can take advantage of the things that are that are available to them. And that's what you want in a in a business. The other thing, as I said in other videos, is you want to know, are they liquid, or do they have a good credit rating? They have a BBB rating by the S&P and a Baa3 from Moody's, which is a good rating. They have a total debt of about $5.4 billion. But you would expect that because they own these facilities that they're probably paying a mortgage on. So that's part of what their debt is. So you'd expect it. But they say they only have 5.6% of their assets encumbered. I'm not sure what that means. What I think it means is of all the assets they own, only 5 or 6% of them have any debt against them. That, to me, would say that's mortgages. That's very low. And I'm not sure I'm interpreting that right, because it seems extremely low to me. Okay? The other thing that I like here is they've increased their dividends for a consecutive 17 years. The other thing is, and this is really great, 78.9% of their adjusted funds are given as dividends. 82% based on funds available for distribution. So in essence, you are a partner in this REIT, and they're making free cash flow, and of that free cash flow, they're distributing 83.2% of it back to you in the form of a dividend. That's like owning a business, and that's what you do. That's what ownership of this stock is all about. So what's it sell for? It sells for about $37 a share and pays a 7.3% dividend. Well, how is that relative to where it has been? In February of 2020, that's the highest, it got up to 44. The next month, it dropped to 22. So we went from 44 and we lost 50% of our value. And now it's at 37. So we've recouped a substantial amount of it. Okay. So what I'm saying is, okay, if we get back to normal operations, COVID is behind us, and we move forward, it looks to me like an easy move from 37 to 44 just to get back where we were. And that's about a $7 gain on a $37 share. Now, then what I did was I went to their first quarter report to see how they're doing as we're coming out of COVID. And it says they reported income of $164 million, or 69 cents a share, and per common share stock, on revenues of $273 million for the end of the quarter. And that compares to, again, $164 million. Year ago, $92.3 million. That's a substantial growth. Per share, 69 in 2021 first quarter, 39 cents first quarter of 2020. That's a substantial growth. That tells me they're doing well. And so I then dig deeper and say, what do I need to know more? Well, remember I told you about a 1031 exchange, how I can take and I can buy $1 million property, and I can own it for 30 years, and I can depreciate it. And so I get it depreciated down to almost nothing. So on my books, it's worth nothing. And I turn around and I sell it. And let's say, like other real estate, it appreciated, and now it's not worth $1 million. It's worth $2.5 million. Well, I just got an income of $1.5 million. And the beauty of it is, if I now go out and buy a new facility for $1.5 million or more, I don't have to include that. I don't have to pay taxes on it, but I do report it as income. And as I read their document, I see that on February, first quarter of 2021, the company sold 24 facilities for $188 million in cash, recognizing a gain of $100 million. Okay, so after depreciation, they had $88 million still on their books. sold it for 188 and realized a capital gain of 100 million. But wait, on February the 25th, the company acquired 6 skilled nursing facilities in Florida and unrelated third party for approximately $83 million. Okay, so they took, and I am sure before the 18 months is over, they will reinvest. They reinvested 83 million of their gain of 100 million. I am quite sure before the end of 18 months, when they have the opportunity, they will invest that other 20 million somewhere to avoid paying tax on it. And that's how REITs work. You're building, just like you in your home, you're building equity. You're building your market cap as your equity increases. And in essence, what you're doing is what I tell you to do in any real estate is the largest asset you own today is probably your home. Go buy another home and rent it and let somebody else pay for it. Well, that's exactly what they're doing here. But they're not renting homes, they're renting nursing facilities. And why is that good? Because my generation is aging, and there are 79 million of us. Just follow us. Once we retire, what's the first thing we do? We go on a cruise. Have you noticed, other than the pandemic, the cruise industry was growing leaps and bounds? Why? Because it's full of retirees. And that's what retirees do. They get on a cruise, they drink, they watch, have nice entertainment, they eat at the buffet line and get fatter and just have a hell of a time for a week. And then they go home. And then they book their next cruise. Okay, that's the first step of retirement. The next step of retirement is the hospital. You ate so much on the cruise ship that your knees are giving out now. And so you go to the hospital to get your knees replaced. Okay, what's the next step? You get some disease and you go back to the hospital and get treated. And then you go to a rehab center, a nursing facility, a nursing home. And that's the steps. So what do you invest in after the nursing homes, after these REITs that we're investing in? Mortuaries, cemeteries. Got 79 million people who are going to look for a place to die. I just saw a thing on TV this morning that one of our mortuaries has got a new, cheaper way to die. Top end is we'll bury you in a box. Middle category is we'll burn your body to ashes and put you in a cylinder and bury that in the ground. Well, now they've got one that's even cheaper. It looks like a long vault that they screw you, put your body in, screw you in, and then put some chemicals in with water, and that over 7 hours, those chemicals dissolve your body, your flesh, your bones, your toenails, your fingernails, your tongue, everything down into a liquid. So I guess you go home with a big jug and say, this is dead. I don't know. But they emphasize it's cheaper than cremation. Okay? We got 79 people waiting in line. Okay, this is going to become a part of my portfolio. Let me tell you a little bit more. CEO is Taylor Pickett. He's been in the business. He's got a good history. He's been in it for a while, so I trust he knows what he's doing. Taylor, I'd like to sit down and interview. I'll get on a plane and I'll come and I'll talk to you. I also got Matthew Gorman's name and his phone number. And I'm going to do this video, and I'm going to call Matthew and tell him where he can get a link to it so that he sees that I'm sharing my information with you, and you are going to make a decision whether or not you want to buy his stock. And in fact, we can help them grow their company, because you didn't realize until I just told you that you start with a cruise ship, you then go to a hospital and a nursing facility, and then you end up in the mortuary. It's a natural progression. Harry Dent told us about it. He just got part of it wrong. Peter Zion told us about it, and you can find a link to this. Is a Noodle, one of my Discord friends, asked me what's the most important book I could read relative to investing, and it's right there. You'll find a link to it in the description. Okay, another thing I thought interesting about this. What's our company's name? Omega Healthcare Investors, OHI. 71% institutional. So the smart money likes this. Okay, and how many employees you think they have? They've got 954 operations, and yet they only have 68 employees. This is an efficiently run organization. And as I said, I'm going to build a portfolio. And I told you the other day I'm going to put it inside my IRA and let my heirs concern themselves with the taxes. But I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm still thinking that through. If I want to own it in a qualified or an unqualified account. And I can... It would be, okay, so it generates dividends, and maybe I gift those dividends to a charity. Maybe I gift them to my grandchildren. There's all kinds of opportunities, and we'll talk about that later. But I think you need to look at this stock. Again, ticker OHI, a healthcare REIT, real estate investment trust. It takes advantage, it gives you the advantage of real estate, but you don't have to manage it. And it gives you an advantage of a continuing income, but you don't have to go clean up after your tenants. Somebody else is doing that for you. So that's my take on this. Again, my objective in all this now, I told you in Saturday's video, is to put myself in a position where I can learn more about this company, about Omega. And I can only do that if I can sit down with Taylor Pickett and ask him to explain in more detail why we should own his stock. Now, I can only get that done if I've got clout. Now, if I was 60 Minutes and I rang up Matthew and said, hey, we want to send a camera crew out and talk to your CEO about your company, they'd say, when do you want to come? And we'd be there. But because I'm not 60 Minutes and I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer and I only have 148,000 subscribers, they may not do it. But if you subscribe and if you like, and we get to 1 million subscribers, or my objective, 15 million subscribers, they'll make room in the office for me, because we will be able to move their stock if they can convince us it's a good stock to invest in. That's my role in this for you. That's my commitment to you. Go to bestofusinvestors.com, and you'll find a place where you can enter your name and your email address, and I'll send you a link to the Discord, and you can learn more about this and what my commitment is to you and how I think I can help you achieve 3 goals. 1, make good investment decisions, because we're going to sit down with the CEOs. 2, learn to keep more of what you make, whether it goes into a qualified or non-qualified, and how a 1031 exchange works, and all the tax laws that make these people rich, or that are going to make you rich, to help you achieve your 3rd goal, and that is to create family wealth. The United States tax system right now says that you and your spouse or significant other can transfer $24 million onto your heirs, estate tax-free. So why not do it? Okay? Talk to you tomorrow. we got some other things that I think you're going to find real interesting. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got to get to 15 million. So Taylor will send us a plane to come interview him. All right, talk to you tomorrow.